Hello everyone, I'm still Mark, and I am still the Sanderson collector, and it is now the 21st of January, and this is the second part of my Fanderson video about Brandon's magic story, Children of the Nameless. And in this part, I am going to talk about the plane of Innistrad and Brandon's story. About 8 or 9 years ago now, from 2011 to 2012, Magic went to a plane called Innistrad. They had 3 sets there. They had the set called Innistrad, they had a set called Dark Ascension, and they had a set called Avacyn Restored. And Innistrad was one of the biggest hits and the favorite sets of many Magic the Gathering players. It had such well-known cards as Snapcaster Mage, Delver of Secrets, Liliana of the Veil, were all first printed in Innistrad and are absolutely staples in many formats today. In 2016, we returned to the world of Innistrad with 2 more sets, Shadows over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon. And we have since moved on to other planes, but we still get little snippets of Innistrad every now and then, like Brandon's story. Brandon's story, Children of the Nameless, is set on Innistrad, and Innistrad is a plane where there are werewolves and ghouls and ghosts and all kinds of spooky gothic horrors and whatnot. It is the Magic the Gathering horror plane, and it sounds absolutely miserable to live there. Please never send me to Innistrad. I would die in about 10 seconds. If you're familiar with all of Brandon's other work, the closest comparison to the feeling of Innistrad that I have felt in Brandon's work is the planet of Threnody, which is featured in Shadows for Silence and the Forests of Hell, which is a really cool story. If you haven't read it yet, you should check it out. Brandon's story, Children of the Nameless, is set in the little village of Verlassen, which is kind of outside of all the main cities on Innistrad. We've never really heard of it before, so he gets to make his own new setting for the story, which means you don't even need to know anything about the setting in order to enjoy the story. And the story features 2 main characters. The first one, Tasenda, is blind during the day but can see at night, and her twin sister, Willa, can see during the day, but not at night. They have been cursed by one of the local magic places called the Bog, which features heavily into the story as well. And it was really cool to read from the viewpoint of a person who is blind half the time. It made a lot of interesting things happen in the story, and I really enjoyed it. And the other main character is Davriel Kane, who I mentioned earlier is a new planeswalker that Brandon has invented and got to write. And Davriel Kane is just kind of wanting to sit on this planet and not have to do anything. He has many demons that he has summoned and written contracts with who help him out. My favorite of his demons is Miss Highwater, who does like the ledgers and accounting for him. And she is really awesome, and all of his other demons are really fun too. The story kicks off when the village, Verlassen, that Tasenda and Willa live in is attacked by some mysterious creatures called Whisperers who start killing the villagers, and Tasenda believes that Davriel Kane, the man of the manor, the man who is basically lord over this region of Innistrad, is behind the attacks, and so she decides that she needs to confront him because of these attacks. And the story goes from there, and it's absolutely fascinating. I loved it. Now, unfortunately, because the Magic cards are not set on Innistrad at the moment, we're off on a plane called Ravnica instead. We do not have any cards directly from this story. Brandon has hinted that there might be 1 or 2 in the future. I really hope we get some, because that would be super cool. So far, though, you can't really get any Magic cards based on Brandon's story. You also cannot get physical copies of this story. It was released for free on the Magic the Gathering website in December. There's a link to that in the description, obviously. And there are no physical editions of this yet. Brandon has said that there might be people interested in doing one, and maybe we will get a physical edition later this year. Fingers crossed that we do, and that there's not too many of them that I have to get. But until then, y'all can go and read the story for free on the Magic website. And if you want to learn more and try to get into Magic the Gathering, I highly recommend looking up your local game stores and seeing if they have Learn to Play days. At the Learn to Play days, they will give you a free starter deck and teach you how to play. They're an absolute blast. I sometimes go to my local store and help out with the Learn to Play days just because it's so much fun to help new people get into the game. I love Magic. And if y'all have any more questions about Brandon's story for Magic, about the game or anything, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And that's everything for today. So until next time, happy reading and collecting.